Monkey like Cheetos. Code monkey like Tab and Mountain Dew. Code monkey, very simple man. With big, warm, fuzzy secret heart. Code monkey like you. Code monkey like you.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the little intro of mine, and be sure to support Code Monkeys, I guess, by going to watch some Code Monkeys, because that show is just awesome. The first thing we're going to be doing here is checking out on Route 37, where we're going to be running into Sunny of Sunday, which gives us a magnet, which is a pretty useful for us right now because of Flappy being an electrical type. I accidentally talked to him a second time. He talks about how he's the youngest, or she. I think Sunny's actually a chick from what I've read in some areas, I'm not exactly sure. But talks about how either he or she is the youngest, and there you go. This is going to be this is like about a good 20-minute part, because we are going to be acquiring the move Surf by going against a bunch of the dancing chicks, can't remember what the hell they're called, and then we're going to be checking out the burn tower to unleash the legendary dogs and also find a bunch of hidden items. And so, you know, there's going to be a lot to do, and it's a very long part, so bear with me in here. And I just realized that in the last part, there's a hidden hyper potion there, by the way, but I just now realized in the last part, I promised I was going to talk about what different colored apricorns do what. And I am looking that up right now while we have a little chat with Bill here, because once you enter this town and go into the Poké Center, this is where he explains that now you can use the time machine trading to get Pokemon from the past, including the legendary birds, Mew, Mewtwo, because you can't get any of those in this game unless you use like a Game Shark or something. But other than that, you cannot get a lot of... It's basically all the legendaries, all 3 starters, and I think that's it that you can't get from Generation 1. You just can't regularly get into this game. You have to trade for it. So you have to wait till you get to this town in order to do a trade in the past. And as he says, you can't trade Pokemon from Generation 2 to the past for obvious reasons, but you also can't trade over Pokemon holding anything, because Pokemon in the past didn't... Well, did they hold something? I can't remember. I can't remember if they held anything in Generation 1. But even so, it can't be anything from Generation 2. You know, plain and simple. So now we're going against 5 Dancing Sisters that have all the evolutions of Eevee, all level 17, starting out with Jolteon. You take care of all 5 of them, and you talk to the man that I'll be talking to at the end of it, and you'll be getting the move Surf, which you are unable to use outside of battle until you beat the gym leader here, but it is nice for Quagsire to have instead of having to hold on to Water Gun instead. I am looking up the apricorns right now, because this is going to take a while. And I need to find out, because actually I'm pretty interested myself as to what each one does. Once it decides that it actually wants to load. Here we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and just get this taken care of here. Alright, here we go. So, different color apricorns that give you different kind of balls. If you give Kurt a red apricorn, it'll give you a level ball, which basically... The higher level, it's... Oh, God, I can't remember. It's either one of 2 things. It either, A, the lower level you are compared to what you're going against, the better chance it has of working, or the higher level you are compared to what you're going against, the better chance of getting it. It's one of those 2. You know, it's either if you're a higher level or a lower level, the more you are compared to your opponent, the better chance it has of actually catching it. Yellow apricorn gives you a moon ball, which basically is best used at nighttime. Blue apricorn, as we got before, I believe, I can't remember, is a lure ball, which is basically used... It has a greater chance of using if you use it when you're fishing. So, you know, you catch a Pokemon while fishing, you have a better chance of catching it with that. Green apricorn is a friend ball, which I believe when you catch a Pokemon with it, its friendship towards you is either maxed out or it automatically jumps up a few levels. It's one of those 2. A pink apricorn gives you a love ball, which, I will be honest, I have no idea what that does, so let's check it out. Let's see here, a white apricorn, white love ball, here we go. Okay, now I gotta wait for it to load again, because, you know, I'm running 3 programs at once here, my internet can only do so much. Okay, so a love ball has a greater chance of working on the opposite gender compared to yours of what you're trying to get. So actually, that's actually not too bad. Just make sure you have a female and you can catch a lot of males and shit. White apricorn, as I already told you guys, is the fastball, which either does one of 2 things, and I will check it out here in a bit. Fastball, either A, is best used in the very beginning. It's either that or it works best against fast Pokemon. I'm going to check it out in a bit. And then finally, the black apricorn gives you a heavy ball, which is better used against Pokemon that have a higher weight. Snorlax, Onix, Rhydon, you know, ones that, you know, rock types, really heavy types. You know, one that you would look at and be like, that probably weighs about over 100 pounds or so. It's better used that way. And now I'm going to be checking out the fastball. In fact, while I'm at it, because like I said, this part's going to be so long, like we're not even hitting halfway through yet. I might as well check out what a lot of these different balls actually do. Let's see here. Okay, so the fastball works better on faster Pokemon, so ones that have a greater speed, which would mean I could have sworn, I'm pretty sure they must have made it in Generation 4, it's the Quick Ball. And the Quick Ball is the one in Generation 4 where if you use it immediately, it has a greater chance of working. So there we go. Heavy Ball, I already did Love Ball, The only other one I need to check out. Oh, okay. So, correction on the Moon Ball. I knew I would screw up somewhere. Which I don't know, this is a weird one. Moon Balls have a greater chance of catching Pokemon that evolve via Moonstone. So in other words, Moon Balls are pretty much only going to be useful against the 2 Genderas and Nidoran, Clarify, Jigglypuff, and Skitty. Which Skitty we don't even get a Skitty in here. So yeah, that's a little, boy, it would make, I guess to me it would just make more sense if it was like better chance of catching at night, but I think that's Generation 4's Dusk Ball, so whatever. And then see here, Level Ball. Okay, yeah, I was right. It works best on Pokemon that are a lower level than you are. The lower level they are, the better chance you have of catching them. So there you go. Those are what all the apricorns do. And I believe I just took out... Yep, I did. Well, that was perfect. So all that battling that, you know, would have been really boring to watch. I made kind of interesting talking about all the apricorns. So now we're going to be... This is the man you want to talk to. He talks about how he enjoyed watching you battle. He's going to give us HM03 Surf, aka the only really good HM to keep as a move as well. The only other one that's actually somewhat decent to have is the move Fly, but even so, Fly only has like a 90% chance of hitting the opponent, so it's, to me, it's not as great. But anyways, one thing to mention is that, as you can see, I now have a Rattata. It's because off screen I went to go get a Rattata so I could use give it the move Rock Smash. Go back a couple parts ago, I said Rock Smash, we wouldn't really be needing it. Well, it is true, because like I said, it's not an HM and it's not needed to move on. However, in order to find hidden secrets, it is needed. And because it's such a pathetic move, I decided to catch a Rattata and let it learn it instead. And it's especially needed for the Burnt Tower we're going into, because there are some hidden items and some other stuff that we need to get via Rock Smash. But before we do that, we're going to be talking to this man in here. He's asked us, adventuring is awesome, and we're like, oh, hell yeah, it is. And he's like, awesome, he gives you an item finder. You use item finder by either setting it to the select button like I usually do with the bicycle, or you just go into your pack and go ahead and select it that way. And by doing so, if an item is on the screen that you're on, it will beep at you. And obviously I'm not going to be using it, considering the fact that, I'm using a strategy guide to find out where all the hidden items are for you guys, which obviously means that if you're watching this, you're not going to need the item finder, because you could care less about there's no use for it, because I'm pretty much showing it all. Now, one thing I forgot to mention here is that once you enter in the Burn Tower, you get to fight your rival. So that's nice. It's not really that hard. In fact, let's go ahead and check out what it is he has, because since I completely forgot that I was going against him, I completely forgot to get data on what all the moveset of everything that he has right now. And give me a second here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had a phone call not too long ago, so I had to, take care of that really quick. Anyway, see where we are. Going against Silver. First thing that he sends out is a Haunter, level 20, Lick, Confuse Ray, Curse, and Mean Look. Mean Look is basically, keeps you from escaping battle, which basically, in this case, means switching out your Pokemon. And the rest is pretty obvious. Throw out a normal type so it can't use Lick on you, and that's about it. The other crazy thing about it is the fact that it knows the move Confuse Ray, which... not Confuse Ray, Curse, which is basically a little bit crazy considering the fact that it's basically him stabbing himself in the frickin' eye. What kind of... that is so frickin' crazy. It's... oh, man. And I just realized something. I'm looking at what they learn as... okay, I need to look up his other one, because I was looking up Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute. He knows Spite, so why does he not have that? So, give me a second. Croconaw, level 22. We'll go over what he learns in a second. I am very unorganized today. Just like last Friday, I just got off work and I just turned this on and said, let's go for it. And this basically shows how good I've been doing so far. Alright, he learns Lick, Spite, Mean Look, and Curse, which, again, he uses Spite because Lick doesn't work. Croconaw learns Water Gun, Leer, Bite, and Rage. The Zubat has Leech Life, Supersonic, Bite, and Confuse Ray. And then I'm not sure if we went against... I think we went against the Magnemite. Tackle, Thundershock, Supersonic, and Sonic Boom. Using Quilava's Fire type. Takes care of the Steel types pretty easily, I might say. And the rest of this video is basically me walking around, getting a bunch of the hidden items on here, and fighting 2 more trainers that are around. But you can also get yourself some Pokemon in this area, okay? In the first floor, when you first enter the door, you can run into a Rattata, Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Gold, Silver version, 50% all across the board. Of course, it's all across the board because of the fact that it's basically, actually, no, it does. The time of day actually does change what you can find in, like, caves and area, buildings and stuff. So you have Rattata, Gold, Silver, 50% all across the board. Crystal version, 55% all across the board. Coughing, Gold, Silver, 35. Crystal version, 30. We will be running into a few here. This man here has 2 Coughings and a Growlithe. Zubat, 10% all across the board. Raticate, 5% all across the board. And then last but not least, when you use Rock Smash, you have a very slight chance of getting 2 Pokemon. 90% chance of getting yourself a Krabby, and another 10% chance getting a Shuckle. Again, I think when you use Rock Smash, I think it's like a 25% chance that you can run into a Pokemon there. It might be a little bit higher than that, I'm not exactly too sure. Now, on the basement floor, when you drop down to the lower level, it changes a little bit. Coughing, Gold and Silver, 50%. Crystal version, 60%. Zubat is a 5% in Gold and Silver, 10% in Crystal version. In the Crystal version, you have a 1% chance of getting yourself a Weezing if you really want it, but, that's kind of pathetic to me. Rattata in Gold and Silver, 40% in morning and night, 35% in the afternoon, and Rattata in the Crystal version is 30% all across the board. Also, in the Gold Silver version, you have a chance of getting yourself a Magmar. Level 14, 5% morning and night, and then level 16, 10% in the afternoon. So if you want to do some walking down there to catch yourself a Magmar, you do have yourself a shot. So, there you go. Have at it and shit like that. We're going to be getting all the hidden items here, except for there is one more item that we are unable to get at the moment, which we need strength in order to get it. And we don't get strength for a while, I believe. We get surf here, and then next town we get ourselves fly, and then I believe after that we either get... actually, we might end up getting strength before we get Fly, actually, I believe. We're going to check that out a little bit later. I mean, you know, I know quite a bit about this game, but I mean, I'm no freaking expert. You know, there are times where I do forget what you can get where. This guy going against has himself, how do you pronounce it? Is it like Charmeleon? Is that actually, I think that's how you pronounce it, is Charmeleon. Second form of Charmander. In Generation 1, again, you can only get them when you trade to the past in red, yellow, and blue. Or if you live in Japan, the green version. Oh boy, this kind of sucks actually. There's really not much more to go over with this part. And like I said, it's freaking 20 minutes long. But we're pretty close here. We've only got, I really think it's here, 2 items to get. Now, see, that's weird. I don't get that. The fact that his body... And it's not just the emulator. I've seen this happen in the regular cartridge game that I own, where, you know, after beating the guy, he'll just turn completely gray. Which, I don't know what caused that. It's got to be a bug, but it kind of creeped me out at first. And before we can get down to Legendary Dogs, we're going to be running into our first Coughing, which sucks. There's really not much more to say about Coughing other than the fact that it sucks. Yeah. This is kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Although we do get to see the fact that Smog doesn't really work well on Quagsire because of the fact that he is indeed a ground type, and Poison type isn't as effective against grounds. However, unlike Steel types, ground types do get poisoned all the same, so you're gonna be seeing that a little bit. But here are the 3 legendary dogs. Entei, Raikou, and, God, I forgot its name. It just escaped me, and I just knew it, too. I can't remember its name. The water type. I can only remember Raikou and Entei. And I don't even know if I'm saying their names right, anyways. But anyways, they unlike the crystal version and the gold and silver version, all 3 of them go out. In the crystal version, you can find an area where you fight the water type and you can get it, which I always thought it should have actually really been an ice type because it looks more like an ice type Pokemon than anything, but that's just me basically. I guess because Articuno is the ice type, you know, they needed to change the other one to a water type, and who knows. But anyways, the rest of this video is basically me trying to get out of this place, and now that we're gone, that's it. I'll see you guys in part 15.